We're back again. I'm pretty sure Daddy Quick is running downstairs getting something done, but let me run through it real quick. Welcome back to 1152 Circle. We're your guys. I'm Roxas Wright, aka CJ, and Daddy Quick is John Denzel. And as of today, we do not have, but surely do miss, Fuzzy Bear Slips, aka Jacques. And we're your guys for our 1152 Circle. Sorry, I'm running up and down the stairs getting something done for my dad. So I'll be right back, but I'm going to try to leave you guys with some music before I go. Oh, Denzel, are you back? Take that as a no.
Yeah.
Oh God. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Right. Your boy John here. We
Love
back.
that you're back when
You
I
feel
got
me?
back.
Yeah, dude. We both back. We're a little late, but that's okay. You know
Yeah.
how we are.
No matter what time we're here, we're still amazing.
Back.
That's just our brand. That's just what we are.
In spite of. I think that's just our definition. In spite of.
In spite of.
In spite of.
That's it. Just in spite of.
Yeah, that's it.
That's
That
the.
is it.
Oh,
In
okay.
spite of.
I had to make sure.
But yeah, today we are a two-man show. Maybe we'll have a special guest come on in a bit. I won't tell y'all who that is, but whoever it is, it won't be important. So we'll just continue with the show.
Don't be talking about me like that.
That was quick. That was quick.
Ha ha ha.
You like I did there? Like what I did there?
All right, everybody. Today we have a very special guest today. She's been on this show before a couple times, so this is a reintroduction per se. I don't know if you have any nicknames for yourself, but Aaliyah is here today. Yeah.
Hey guys,
Yo.
it's just me. It's just Aaliyah, but Denzel calls me Mo Money, so
Do you make more money?
yeah, I always got money.
Hey. Okay. Okay.
You're
Oh.
rich.
Period.
I'm messing up over here. Don't mind me.
Yeah, but listen. Speaking of rich bitches here, there's one rich bitch in Texas named Ted Cruz. I think that's his name.
It's a very
Yeah.
familiar name. I've heard it before somewhere.
Yeah, he's the senator in Texas, and he just left his people. But guess what his excuse was to go to Cancun instead of being in Texas with everyone else?
Lay it on me.
Apparently, it wasn't a family vacation that he was spending his time with, but he just wanted to make sure that his daughters that were going on family vacation without him were all right. So he flew with his daughters to make sure that they got there safe. And then
Oh,
he's gonna
come
fly
on.
back.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
Huh.
yeah.
Sure.
But I just think it's funny how I don't think I should say this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. So
Mm-hmm.
clip me if you want.
Clipping.
I think that this snowstorm could have happened a couple weeks ago, and we could have been in a very different situation where Trump would not be acquitted. Because if anyone remembers, Ted Cruz was the first to say that he's not going to vote against Trump, and he
Yeah.
was like the first one, and then everyone else started following after. So if he had went on to Cancun a couple weeks beforehand, that opinion wouldn't have had the weight.
Not trying to be that guy, but I wonder if anything would have changed. Like what would have been different?
Yeah.
Would the outcome be the same?
Yeah.
Or why
I
did?
think,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Maybe.
You know, you always got to be hopeful that things change, but if you had told me a couple weeks ago, or even like a month ago, that Trump was going to be acquitted, I would not
Mm-hmm.
be surprised. So, there's that.
Well, we're here now. I want to say that I'm shocked. I want to say that I'm shocked, but I'm not. I'm not at
You're
all.
shocked.
Don't even lie.
Listen. This guy has been backed by so many wild people, right? So many people with money. So many people with power. I was not shocked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, he pissed off a lot of people, but he didn't piss off the right people, if you know what I mean.
Right. Yeah. If he
Yeah.
right people, it would have been a different story.
Like if he was doing something to destroy, like, wealthy people's money, if he was doing something like that, not just hurting everybody else, but if you're talking about people with actual money, if he was doing something against them, then it would have been a different story. But
Right.
he wasn't. Those are his people.
And that's just sad because it really shows like this guy. Then it just kind of shows that rich white people was too. You know, that all this shit still won't vote against him. That's fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
Word.
Sad case. And you know, it shows that like we're always like there's always being like suppressed. Like there's always we can talk about like the people voting because you know there's a lot of saying we're not doing enough in the United States. We're not using our voices. You know, at the end of the day, like it's not even about us at this point.
Word.
They're just more superior. Like we literally have no power. It's because we have no money.
Right.
Word.
And it sucks to say, but that's the way it's been for, well, forever. And that's just how people. It's not how people work, but it's how our country specifically works.
I wouldn't say forever, because weren't the founding fathers at the time, they were like broke compared to their European counterparts.
Oh, I didn't say forever. I just said that's how it works.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like that's what we're living in right now.
And that's kind of been like a debate that's been going around for years as well, like whether we need to fight the system by being the best at the system in terms of like gaining economic power, or should we be fighting against the system by revolutionizing and going against the system completely, entirely. So,
what do you think
that's
would
kind of
cause the best outcome?
That is a very, very good question. I think the outcome, or whatever the best outcome, depends on your goals. If your goals is to unify entirely and that sort of kind of thing, I think that that's I think that a rise in economic power for the I shouldn't even say minority, for the majority, for the non 1%.
Yep.
Would be the best outcome in that sense. But if your goal is to like not to live in the system that we live in, just in specificity, capitalism, but on a larger sense, it's just like America and the whole Western ideology in general.
Mm-hmm.
That requires like to just divert away from that kind of thinking, and then really like revolutionize and do other more violent things, most likely. So yeah, I think that's the simple way to put it. Because if we wanted to like live in this sort of system and sort of like give rise in terms of capitalism, we're essentially playing their game. So we just have to be better at their game than they are. Which has been like the plan for most people. But then again, they make the rules in their game, so they get to change the rules while we're beating their game, which has happened multiple times before. So Yeah, that's a very tough question to ask of you, sir. But I want to hear your opinion.
Well, I would love to say the simple thing and go, oh, we could just do exactly what the Jewish community does, keep the money circulating within ourselves.
Oh,
That way, the
yeah.
money always comes back to our pocket. But we've seen what happens when we've tried that. We've tried that 2 times, and we see what
Yeah.
happens. I'm not saying it's always going to be that way, but I don't know if third time's the charm. Since we can see from all of 2020 the anti-protest, the Capitol building, everything like that, we can see that that's still going to be an issue for multiple people, for many people.
Yeah. And then manipulating our own protests and riots and then burning everything down as well.
Precisely, precisely.
And then blame it on us. That's also
So
a thing. Well.
I wish I could give a straightforward answer and say that if we were living in a society that would actually genuinely work for all of our better needs. Well, first of all, this wouldn't be a conversation, but second of all, we could definitely do what the Jewish community does and keep the money circling within ourselves. Getting a few people that we know, get someone to go to be a doctor, a lawyer, da 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 da, and then if you need something, you go straight to them, go to their firm, and the money stays inside your community. It doesn't have to be exported.
And I think the success of that community didn't rely specifically on just selling to Jewish people because they did definitely have more of an opportunity to create these businesses and maintain these businesses. And how they would do that is sell to the black people. Because when black people tried to start businesses back then, it didn't really work out. It was called pioneering back then, and that wasn't allowed. So for non-black folks during that time, they were able to do that, and
Mm-hmm.
because of that, they were able to extend their reach to different markets, i.e., the black community, and make their money off of us.
Right. And even speaking about just communities by themselves, what I was talking about more so was smaller, like genuinely just towns.
Yeah,
Because I have a friend who's Jewish, and their community does the exact same thing I was just mentioning, where you need a babysitter. My daughter's now 13 years old. You could give your money to us, and then my uncle or my whoever else needs help fixing up their house, and I know your son's a carpenter, so your son can come over here and do this, and it's just back and forth, just
yeah,
nonstop giving. But you're right, the pioneering, and everything I mentioned just now, besides the original doctor and lawyers and all that, that's trade. It's simple trade. It's just raising your child up to know a specific trade so you can continue helping your community and just being well off on your own. But even with that, we're going back to the discussion we had. What was it last week? Where you have to change people's mentalities over immediate reward,
right.
because that's gonna be a huge stunt in any of this growth. We could start today and say we're gonna try to do this idea, but there's so many people that you already know that's gonna sit there and go like, why do I want to fix floors when I could just get someone to do it for me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that fact is compounded on the idea of, or not the idea of, or the evolution of the internet and social media in general. So you see everyone else doing the things that people would want to do and be able to make profit and have success based off that, and then everyone wants that. So that's what
Right.
they're going to go after. And then, even on top of that, in black homes and communities, and not even just the African American homes, like in the Caribbean homes too, in a lot of foreign homes, there's always doctor, lawyer, engineer,
Right.
and then it's not really like you creating business for yourself. It's you gaining the education so you could go work for the white people. So yeah, yeah, that Jewish community example is very important, especially because it's not on that like big level as you said. It's more of like a local, even like neighborhood to neighborhood level.
Yeah.
So
And that in itself
some
would
black communities are
change.
starting that up again. So
Yeah. Do you know if ours are? Because I know Freeport's, well, Freeport isn't a black community, but
Yeah. Well, it's not a
uh,
black community either, so we're gonna have to pass this off to someone else.
that's very fair. That is very fair.
You know, Leah.
Wait,
I guess not.
wait. Oh, okay. Something was off. Um, I was gonna say how like I feel like most of this is more like a cultural thing
Yeah.
because like the difference between African Americans and the Jewish culture is that like literally the Jewish culture was like they was grounded on this type of foundation. Like this is just like the norm. This is what they do. You know what I'm saying? Like we technically like us black people, we don't really have like that. We don't really have a foundation because we were brought here. Like we were stolen from our own land and we were brought here. So we don't have our own foundation. So one that causes distrust within the black community because everybody's different. Everybody was raised on different in different areas and you know we just don't have that sense of like working together, like even doing simple stuff like going on a march. Everybody's not going to go on a march, everybody's not going to go
Yeah.
on a protest. But Denzel, remember we was when we was in Williamsburg, like we literally got trapped in a freaking Jewish parade.
Oh
I don't
my
know what was going
God.
on, but there was a whole parade, and pretty
Yeah.
much the whole neighborhood was out there. So they would definitely pop out for that, but black people would not do that. The
What
majority would
holiday
not. The
was
majority
that?
would stay home. I
Oh
have
my
no
God, that
idea,
was so
but they was
crazy.
having a whole concert parade float. It was actually very scary and intimidating.
And it was so many people. They just flooded the entire street
Yeah, and we
for
were
a
the only
block.
black people there.
Oh my God.
We were legit
It
the
was
only black
like,
people
where's
there.
Waldo? It was a
I mean,
where's
they would have
Waldo
found
situation.
Waldo. It's fine. They would have found Waldo. But you get
Yeah.
my point
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah,
this is
definitely.
a rooted this is more of like a rooted situation. Like this is um the Jewish culture is very disciplined. They're very like it's the same thing with like South Asian culture. They're very disciplined. And like
Yeah,
just like Jewish people, South Asians keep their money with them within their culture. Like they marry people that they know is going to give them money, not mainly because of love, but like the youth is like um what is it, their parents decide their spouses for them, so
yeah,
they're in an arranged marriage already, even before they get to know these people. Like these two kids can be 5 years old, and the parents are already deciding like, yeah, these kids are going to get married
for sure.
because our family runs this company and your family runs that company, and when they get together, we're going to be like filthy rich. So let's do this. Black people would not do that
Yeah,
because
black
we
people
weren't raised
definitely
like
would not
that.
do that.
There's no
Mhm.
foundation in our culture. We kind of just like
I
mix
mean, we
different
had
cultures.
like a sort of foundation a couple of generations ago, like the whole it takes a community to raise a child type thing. That was like very real in some neighborhoods, but that kind of fell off because, like you said, like it's not like uh maintained in a community. Like you're not there to stay. So like a lot of people left and then, or a lot of kids left and did their own thing. Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
Yeah.
the lack of foundation of our origins produced its very own sort of foundation. Like I know how the Jewish community had, a way of living for generations and generations. They got shut down and they had to adapt after Nazi Germany and everything else. But for us, even though it's not the best concept or the best thing that we have to go off of, but our foundation was family and survival.
Yeah.
Our original and origin
Yeah.
foundation was family comes first,
Survival.
because without your family you can't survive.
Mhm.
But that that doesn't extend that far if we're having a conversation on economics.
Yeah, like we're so focused on the surviving part, we don't really see the thriving part
Right.
in terms
Which
of like
which
community
goes hand in
building
hand
stuff.
with the idea of the Caribbean parent or the
Yeah,
South American or Central American parent saying, you know, when you grow up you have to get rich because or rich or you have to marry rich, you have to become a doctor, a lawyer, all these big things because that way
Mhm.
once you get well enough, you could bring that wealth back to the family. That way you
yeah,
could come back and help the family, you could support the family but also support yourself.
Yeah.
yeah, and that came with the broke like that sort of process for us came like disarray because of the broken families, especially in like the 70s and 80s and stuff, due to um imprisonment and
Yep.
black men destroying the black families and stuff and drugs and all that stuff. And that's a very
Yeah.
heavy topic. So
I
that's kind of
I
like where you fell short.
I've been huge on this only from watching different experiences and from like watching different families crumble this way. But the main pull for every scenario, given the father being taken out of the life, is very destructive. But breaking down, especially for our community, the black female, that has been more destructive for our community. Because if the father's gone, yeah, he doesn't have the child doesn't have fatherly support, but he still has his mother to do so much more and to help out. But the issue with that is, since way back since slavery, black females have been used as cattle. I mean, all of us have been used as cattle, but at least the men were used more like bulls, where yeah, they were cattle, but they also had the other job. They had all this other stuff. They had all the heavy work. They had all the heavy load. Where the females were used sometimes for the master's pleasure, sometimes just to pick the cotton, then go back just to produce more slaves. And that
Yeah,
mentality sticks. That's the one thing that people fail to realize with slavery. Mentality from torture, because slavery is torture, it sticks. So that mentality from a bunch of men watching that being done to their mothers and then having it to be done to the person that they had to produce with or even love, that sticks in their head and breaks down the image of the African American female, especially in the slave's mind. And now you keep moving forward where they're continuing to be attacked, everything else. Black men now being ripped out of households. Now there's a lot of tension between the black male, black female, and now there's a lot of dishonesty and mistrust. Once you have all these different layers activating, going back to my original portion here, once you lose the foundation for the mother, once the mother loses that foundation, that connection to ancestry, that connection with everyone from the other generations, she cannot pass down the wealth of information that the generations had. And once
yeah,
that mother is gone, which again I've seen multiple times, the family crumbles apart. So I see taking the father away as just the first step of breaking down the mother. Because a family can, it's very difficult, but families can still be sustained by the mom. I've known multiple families that have done it. It's
yeah,
strained. It's definitely strained, but it's still sustainable. But the second the mother passes away or something happens where she can't support the family anymore, everyone's scrambling.
Yeah.
I think in every community, every single community, the main foundation, or rather the main person that is the foundation for their family, is the mother.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Because the mother does the most compared to everybody else in the family. The
Mm-hmm.
mother not only provides for her husband, but the mother provides for her children. The mother holds the children. So she already has that bond with the children pretty much like 9 months ahead of the father.
Right.
And then because stereotypically the father's job is to provide for the family. He's the one that's supposed to go out and do the thing and get and keep the house and the food and all that stuff. It's money, 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 all that stuff. The mom
Right.
is usually like the emotional factor of the family. The mother is the one that gives life to the family
Yeah.
household because she has so many jobs out of every member of the family.
Mm-hmm. And I
Yeah.
love that you said give life because I was gonna say that it's the mother. It's not specifically her duty, but naturally it is her role to
That's
produce
Bible.
the family, to give that life, to allow them to grow and
Yeah.
establish understanding of emotional. The seven needs that we talked about in the first podcast, it's vital that she produces those means. So once they're out into the actual world, they can achieve more. Or once they're done with their
Yeah.
development into say around ages 18 or whatever have you, where they start to develop their own self, that's when all those aspects the mother taught them come into play.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be
It all
honest,
starts in the womb.
yeah, it all starts in the womb. The foundation starts right there and then in the womb.
Word. That's
It's like a
Bible.
cycle.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice.
Yeah. I just
But yeah,
I just read about it. Whatchamacallit, yesterday. Well, yeah, like in Genesis, like when the whole like Adam and Eve thing happened, and then the original sin and all of that. As
Mm-hmm.
punishment, God gave woman, or the first woman, labor pain,
Yep.
and then after that, He took away their access to the tree of life. So from that point moving forward, women had the sole responsibility of feeding life, of producing life, of birthing life for all of humanity in that sense.
painfully.
So
Yeah. I know in
painfully
some
on
communities
top
they
of that.
consider the female to be descendants of the tree. Like because they took the apple, she produces, or rather every descendant, not yeah, every descendant
Which
after,
tree?
like, said, let me see if I can pull this up. But essentially, since the original female, this isn't biblical, but since the original female took from the tree of life, which is what they call it, that aspect or that understanding of life itself has been born and produced and said generations under generations under generations from her. Let's see.
And you know what's funny? I went to it was last year. I went to a Juneteenth celebration. It was in Harlem, and pretty much everybody there. I know I'm probably gonna stir up people, but pretty much everyone there was saying that God is a black woman. Now, technically, technically, the Bible just says that God is a man. Um, but in reality, like God is whatever we perceive God to be.
Yeah.
Not biblically speaking.
Yeah.
I could say that God's a fish because everything I hear about God associates me with the fish. I don't know, but
That's hectic, but go
everybody
on.
was, everybody I know, right? Everybody used the term that God is a black woman. When they referred to God, they said she. This wasn't the first time I heard this, but it was the first time I heard this from like a whole community of people because everybody there just agreed
Yeah.
automatically. You know what I'm saying? And I realized that they associated God as a black woman because of the role that God has in life, because of the power that God has. And people associate like the mother to like the world, Mother Earth. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they have those like certain associations just because of the way that the woman is supposed to give life, the way that the woman is supposed to provide, the way that the woman sacrifices herself for others. Like people say like that's just a godlike thing, and then scientifically speaking, the black woman can actually produce can actually produce the most variations of children. You know,
Yeah.
like we have the ability to produce different variations of children, different skin tones of children. You know, white women can't do that. I'm just saying. But like black women have the ability to do that, whether we have children with a black man or we have children with a white man. There's still a variety of skin tones that can come from us, a variety of things, of beings that can come from us, you know. So I felt like that was very interesting when you guys brought up that they associate, and I've seen like art associate the tree of life with women also.
Yeah.
They associate, like, a lot of times they associate the higher power as a woman, as some form of goddess, you know. So I just wanted to say that. I'm not saying that I do or don't believe that God is a man or a woman. I honestly feel like God has no gender. Um, you know, because God is technically just a higher power. I feel like God shouldn't
I
be
think that's
limited
Bible
to a
too.
gender.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because yeah, I just feel like that's kind of not fair. I feel like the imagery of God being a man comes from the Europeans.
Men.
Yeah, it comes from men. You know,
Yeah.
um, and it is what it is. I feel like God should be as fluid as everybody is trying to be.
I'm glad I
Yeah.
found this because this is something I looked up, I think in 2017, because I kept hearing about, like, you know, God is a woman, this and a third. In a old Hebrew inscription, there are multiple inscriptions mentioning Yahweh and Asherah. Asherah
Mm,
being Mother Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So, the I mean, I'm not gonna go as far as what other people have said, but many people believe that um Asherah as a tree symbol was even said to have been chopped down and burned outside of the temple in acts of, yeah. So they view Asherah as the whole entire she's Earth essentially. I mean, Asherah
Yeah.
translates into Earth anyway, but if I'm not mistaken,
Mhm.
but a lot of the ideas of, because I'm pretty sure a lot of people who believe, you know, God as woman, stuff like that, they're spiritualists who believe more
Mhm.
in the spirit of nature and the earth itself. So they're
Mhm.
referring to Asherah, not Yahweh,
Mm.
Right.
unless
That makes
they
sense.
just don't know and they think they're referring to Yahweh, but just don't know like the history
And
or the text or anything.
like something else in like other ideologies, like for example Greek mythology, the starting, the beginning of like everything, there was Mother Earth, and then there was the the guy, I forgot his name, but
The guy.
pretty much in like pretty much in like multiple ideologies, in the beginning it was always a man and a woman. It was always like Mother Earth and some form of protector. You know, like the man was never seen as the creator. The man was seen as the protector,
Yeah.
you know. And I feel like, and that's another thing with like the whole God thing and associating like God with man, and like really showing the difference between other ideologies and Christianity, because you don't really associate man as the creator.
Yeah.
You don't usually do that. Like we were just talking about, like the mother is truly like the foundation of a family, because she's the one that creates. She does the most out of everybody in the family. Like you think of mother, you think creator, you think life giver,
Right.
all that stuff. When you think of father, you think of provider, protector. Like that's the stereotypes that we were given. Those are the functions that were given between man and woman, which is why man cannot give birth, even though they're trying to. Anyway, have y'all seen that? Have y'all seen that? Yeah,
Yeah, I've
Yeah,
seen
I've
the
seen that.
period.
they've been trying to do that. Mm.
I found the old text for Asherah. Essentially, because we know the Canaanites like served many like principles.
Mm-hmm.
Their queen, what they called their queen of heaven, or their main goddess, who they believe sat next to God, was Ashura. They believe that was his wife.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's where that comes from, the Canaanites. And if you want to go to where it is now, because the temple's still there, there is I mean, they burnt it down and chopped it down and a bunch of stuff, but they still have.
That wasn't supposed to be a house. I'm sorry.
My bad. They still have the shrubs of the tree on the ground. Like it's you can still see the tree there, and they used to praise and worship that tree.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So little history info for that one. It's dope.
Yeah.
It's
But yeah, it's huge. It's a huge thing because I know so many people that I know that it's been such a huge thing that some don't know if I call them Christians, but people who are trying to follow Christ through their own means and methods without ever attending a church, they even refer to God as, a woman.
well, people that go to church refer to God. I mean, I go to church. I go to church, and I mean, I naturally call God him, but that's because I was raised on that. But that's not what's in my head.
No.
Yeah. Like, I'm pretty sure in the Bible it says that God is, well, in one way or form, it says that God is genderless. I know, like, for angels or spiritual beings, they're genderless. So
Yeah.
you can assume, based off that fact, that God himself is genderless. God has taken many forms before to show up to people. He's taken the form of winds, of storms, of anything you can imagine. So he can come in any shape or form he wants. Exactly, a bush, a burning bush. But
The reason why it's been a huge issue is because they it's not. I don't believe it was King James who put it in. It might have been before him, but they replaced some of the text and put in "I am the Father" specifically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, the Bible has been like manipulated hundreds and hundreds of times, which is
because of translations and on top of that, other things. But
yeah, they utilize the Bible for power.
Is a lot.
Yeah, one that I think you guys might know already. Did you know that the text that they used when they said a man shall not lay with a man and everything else about homosexuality? Yeah, they're talking about pedophilia.
Yeah.
Their original text was a man should not lay with a boy and a woman should not lay with a girl.
Wow.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah.
Oh, and then you think they switched it because of the...
I mean...
I had like a whole discussion with my friends about that because we were like talking about how the Bible condemned homosexuality, and they were saying like, no, the Bible actually condemns pedophilia, not homosexuality. And I was like...
And child play.
Yeah.
A man should not wear... One, he should not wear women's clothing, but they also mentioned that he shouldn't be wearing boys' clothing.
Yeah.
Thank you, baby.
I honestly never thought about it like that, and that shows that I shouldn't just distinctly be listening to my pastor. No shade to him, but this really shows that
I'm clipping this and throwing him.
Don't do that. Don't do that. But it just really shows like how we as people, not even like Christians or Hindus or whatever, like just we as people need to delve into stuff ourselves and look into them ourselves, because we can believe anything that somebody tells us if we believe that they have more knowledge than us.
Absolutely.
But we need to put in the effort of doing our own research and doing our own understanding, because my understanding is definitely not the same as half of the Christians. But
and then you have to add in the idea that there's so many different versions of Christianity.
Yeah, there are. There's a lot of stuff. There's actually, have you heard of like the what are they? The Lutherans? The Lutherans? Or something. Basically, like they're like the gay Christians. but like openly gay Christians, not like the DL people that be up
Yeah.
in me and Denzel's church. You know, these are like openly gay and
Dang.
trans and
You call him out like that, let's call him out.
like openly gay and trans pastors, bishops, all that stuff in the Lutheran church.
I did hear about that. The my friend is a part of a Lutheran church, and they just split because of that reasoning.
Wow.
Yeah. And then, I mean, if we're gonna dive deep into Christianity, or the idea of the Christian faith as a whole, basically it's anybody who studies under or follows God or his angels or children. Craziest thing I did not know, Luciferian is actually labeled under Christianity.
Well,
I'm sorry, who now?
Antichrist.
Yeah, Luciferian, people who worship Lucifer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And
I
also,
guess that kind of counts.
Satanists and Luciferian are not the same. There are people who worship Lucifer as the angel, and people who worship Satan, who's completely separated from the Christian faith altogether.
See, you should have led with that.
Yeah. Because
You should have said that first. Because I'm like, well, you know, I guess the devil, because the Antichrist, like no.
But
it's
also,
like the angel.
Satan doesn't even mean just Lucifer. It means adversary. Yeah.
Was it originally like that, or do you think that's an adaptation from the Bible because the Bible was so well, so embedded into the culture that it just became common to refer to anything adversarial as Satan?
I'm pretty sure it was something that was adapted. I don't think that was original. I could look back into that.
That makes sense, though.
Yeah.
It makes sense that way, though.
It does. No, what did I do? Oh my gosh.
I mean, same thing with the other books that were taken out. Like the Book of Enoch was technically supposed to stay inside the Bible. That's why the Enochian, the Christians of the Enochian faith, or the Ethiopians, they still believe in the Book of Enoch. They still preach that today.
Yeah.
And for those that don't know, the Book of Enoch is basically a telling of everything that happened pre-Genesis, or rather in the middle of Genesis. It's everything that's happened in the middle of Genesis, speaking from the angels that defected, came to the earth, the creation of Nephilim or Nephilim. Yeah.
Was this? That's weird because when you say before Genesis, that's kind of weird because Genesis is.
I corrected myself.
Really,
I corrected
like,
myself.
based in a specific time, yeah. So like, that's like after like the beginning and the heavens and earth thing.
Yeah, like I said,
Okay.
it wasn't before. I corrected myself. It was during Genesis. Okay. Yeah.
Gotcha. Cool.
Yeah, it's wild.
I believe it too.
Thinking about all these sub-religions and things like that, it really just makes me think of like sororities and fraternities because because one sorority was here and another sorority was created because they didn't agree with the first sorority, so they decided to go on and do their own thing. But pretty much like they all have the same ideas and ideologies about like what they follow. They just do it differently. I guess they all pretty much look the same to me. They just have different colors. But
minus the Divine Nine. Sorry.
I was definitely talking about the Divine Nine.
Oh, that's crazy.
I was definitely talking about the Divine Nine. for them though. Much love for all those
Thank you.
money spenders.
Listen.
Oh, you're in a frat?
I'm joining soon.
Oh, nice. I was gonna join
Oh,
one,
never
but then I was
mind.
broke. Well, I wasn't broke. I didn't have my grades weren't good enough, and the chapter.
I'm glad you
was
can
like,
admit to your truth.
She's like, you need to. She's like, you need to get your grades up first, and I was like, okay, cool. And now I'm just kind of like over it. I mean, I might join eventually, maybe
Which chapter?
before I graduate school. Um, I wanted to be I wanted to join the Deltas.
Mmm.
Yeah, and there was one that actually there was a chapter that was at my school, but only like the Manhattan, like on the Manhattan campus. So like when they had their rush, I traveled all the way from Old Westbury to Manhattan. Yeah, I was ready. Like I was like, oh yeah, I'm ready to do this. But then
Yeah.
I was like a couple of points away from like their like required GPA. So I talked to the president. She was like, no, you need to work on like getting your GPA higher, because I had like
Yeah.
all the criteria ready. But she was like, you need to work on getting your GPA a little bit higher, so we don't have to so you don't do all this work just for us to be like, oh, your grades suck. That was basically gonna be the case.
Unless they were honest.
Yeah, she's so nice. I used to go to high school with her.
Mm.
So me and her like knew each other already. We used to go to high school with her. She was in the band. I was in chorus, so we kind of saw each other on a decently regular basis.
Decently regular.
Decently regular.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like it's cool. And then Denzel's sister's in a sorority.
Isn't she not a Zeta? What is she?
SG Row. Sigma.
I am so glad I have my headphones in right now.
She was actually mad at me because I said I wanted to be a Delta. She got mad, and I was like, oh.
She can't really be mad because of all the other people, like our pastor. She was a Delta too. So.
I see. Some of those chapters were created because AKAs were being dicks.
Yeah.
And
yeah, that's
yes,
why.
yeah, they were like, "Oh, you want to make a brown paper bag rule? I bet we don't need you."
Right.
Like we created our foundation so black people could have a place to be, and how are you gonna gatekeep blackness? Like what?
Yeah.
And now AKAs are like known for their hazing, so jokes on
Yep.
them. Ha ha ha.
It's not like we know AKAs personally or anything. Haha. I'm not gonna say the names, but like.
You're not. I'm so glad some people are not here right now because
Yep.
they would be weak.
Hurt their feelings. Don't hurt their feelings, guys.
I brought it up to them before, and they're like, "Yeah, we did that in the past." I was like, "In the past?
That's not okay."
It's not in the past. Some schools still do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they definitely do still do it.
Yeah.
Just, like kind of get away with it, and the sad part is that like the pledges, like they're not allowed to say anything.
Yeah.
Like they legit can't.
If
say
they do say
anything.
something, then everything is clipped. So
Exactly.
Exactly.
if your motive is to get into the group, then why would you say something?
You will die for this team.
Die.
And then like you just really become like a black sheep for the rest of your college career. So
Funniest thing, but not funny at all. My
Just for a jacket.
my dad. I mean, not my dad. My brother. Online, his name is literally Flatline, because while he was pledging, he flatlined.
Oh my god.
I shit you not. I shit you not. But it's funny how we mentioned that, because the first thing I thought about when we talked about how the black community created their own concept was the first African American church, the AME, because we were tired of sitting in the balcony and not being able to join church. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I wish I watched the full documentary. because it was on 2 nights ago. But basically, they were discussing the history and the foundation of the African American church. Did you guys know that there would be the pastors, like the African American pastors, would sit there in the service, memorize the whole entire thing since we didn't know how to read and write, and then relay it to the people?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's the origin, yeah.
Like a bad situation because like the white pastors didn't want like the black people coming into their church and dancing and doing the whole jive and everything.
Yep.
So then they had like a separate like pastor, and they told the pastor specifically what to say, and they were only allowed to like say certain things from the Bible because, as you know, the Bible is the Bible, and it's gonna teach about like the whole Moses situation and everything, and that would inspire their slaves, and they didn't want that. So the pastors that they sent had to say specific readings from the Bible in the black church, I guess, and that wasn't enough for the black people. So on their own time, like late after hours, I guess they would have meetings and then be able to have real church then.
Like slavery.
Yeah.
Like a bunch of prejudice. It's just so sad how like there's just so much prejudice towards black people, even from black people. And like, and I know like we say it like as a joke, but like it's like people would say like, oh, like I want to go to this country and I want to go to this country, like I want to leave America, and they're like, well, they don't like black people there either, and I'm like, well, you know, nobody likes black people, so
yeah.
It's like, what are we gonna do? We're just black.
Oh my gosh, I didn't send it to the memories chat, but there was this one TikTok that was perfect for that idea. Basically, they were saying there was one dude who grew up in the hood talking to someone from Africa. He was like, wow, so you guys don't live in mud huts? He was like, no. Wow, so you guys don't all shoot, rob, and kill? He was like, no. And they was going back and forth, and he was like, I literally don't know anybody that you mentioned or spoke about. He was like, well, same here. It's almost as if they made the media so no matter where we go, they hate us. It's almost as if, right?
Yeah. No.
Imagine, well, I mean, we don't have to imagine. We're black. But for anyone who's not, for anyone who's not, just imagine your whole entire race, right, being a national caricature. Like nothing else. Your race as a whole is a caricature. Talking Jim Crow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just imagine how damaging that is. And then to be a kid growing up to view that, right? Of course you're going to think that's how it is.
Yeah.
Because where else are you going to learn it? Who's going to tell you that's wrong?
Exactly.
And that's kind of why, like, I'm upset now. Like, granted, like, there's a lot of anger and hostility towards what's happened in the past, but they're still messing up even today because there's schools out there that are introducing Black history as, like, a form of, like, curriculum or education to K through 12 schools, but they're giving students or families the option to opt out of that.
Yes, they are. And then
So stupid.
we've discussed this multiple times. There's also the fact that there's a bunch of schools out there that are shipping out different textbooks that are actually teaching that slaves enjoyed being slaves, or that their lifestyles or what they lived through was not as harsh as what we know to have existed.
It's the mentality. Kanye West.
Like there was one where they explained slavery as people who worked for free out of amusement and lived in cottages and wore like wealthy clothes. They were teaching that in Texas.
That is so bullshit.
Right.
How do you legit like believe that? Like, really?
They did
Well, I
not
mean,
even have...
again, It's the same idea as people from Africa not liking African Americans because of the way the media portrayed them. If
Yeah.
these kids from these like not industries, but these institutions don't figure out from any other means, how are they going to learn otherwise? Their teacher is the one that's supposed to educate you on what is. So how are they supposed to know, the kid? How are they supposed to know that they're being wronged?
That extends to the higher education as well, because in that higher education you're taught how to excel in whatever industry you're getting into, and that's most likely going to be owned by someone that doesn't look like you. So
Right.
they teach you how to fare there, but they're not teaching you how to build up your own community at home. And then on top of that, they're teaching you that whatever attempts that people have at recreating the community is going to fail. So the educated people that have the ability, opportunity, and um, better resources for building that community aren't going to be effective in doing so.
Right.
Good. All good.
And we don't have to go to an industry to learn that or be felt that way. We get that in our own communities.
Yeah.
And it's so simple. People don't realize just a very simple. You ain't ever gonna be. You should stop trying because you're never gonna.
Yeah.
Just
exactly.
You're never going to. Is the biggest
Yeah.
downfall.
And that's coming from your parents, and that's coming from the quote unquote educated people as well.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, it could also just come from like our own, like it doesn't even have to be like educated people. Like sometimes like uneducated people. I don't know. I don't remember if me and Denzel had this discussion before, but I do remember like having this discussion about like how the reason why a lot of Black people aren't in like the professional community is because of our own people tearing us down.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like we're like because it's not common for Black people to be in the professional community. We like speak to each other saying like you shouldn't do it because there's no Black people there. Well, how are there supposed to be Black people there if you're not gonna let me go for it?
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah. And then the Black
like,
people that make it there want to remain being the one Black person there, so they can feel fucked about themselves.
And honestly, like it's not getting them anywhere. But anyway,
Yeah.
I remember like when a neighbor of mine found out that I wanted to pursue architecture, and he was like, "No, don't do architecture. Like, there's no Black people in architecture. You should just like be a nurse. You know, nurses make a lot of money." I was like, "Yo,
What?
I will push you down these steps.
Mm.
Don't speak to
Did
me
you?
like that."
You should have.
Mind you, he was the only person. No, he was the only person that said that to me out of like the hundreds of people that was like, "Oh yeah, girl, you go get your degree."
Mm-hmm.
But like, I was like, sir, I will like push you down the steps. Don't speak to me like that. I would
You
never,
did push him down the steps.
ever. I didn't push him down the steps because he was already crippled. But
Sorry.
the point was, and plus my mom like.
So it happened to him before.
So he didn't learn from his mistake, clearly.
But my point is like, you know, I would never like talk down to my fellow people. I mean, the worst that I could possibly do is try to talk like my friends out of trying to be rappers, because I just feel like that's just not no.
That's
Like,
double standard we need to talk about.
You're not gonna
Yes.
get anywhere. And now and it's annoying because a lot of these things, like, it's a common factor for like people our age. They're getting into like the nail business and the hair business and all this stuff, and I'm like, well, shoot, somebody gonna be starting a hair glue business. Everybody gonna be making wigs. Somebody should be making the wig glue. Hello, money.
Yeah.
Like, y'all not thinking outside the box. Y'all just want to do what she's doing.
Right.
And it's like there's no originality anymore. Like now, first I was
Mm.
happy that you want to start your own beauty business. Like, yeah, more black people in the beauty community. Now I'm over it. Now I'm like,
Yeah,
what's next? You
that's
know, like
partially our fault though. I wouldn't say that's
it is our
completely
fault.
like. I wouldn't say that that's completely our fault because history shows that that's not the case. Like whenever we try to find our own opportunities, it gets us down. So then people are relegated to the opportunities that white people hand to us.
Yeah,
So for rappers, that whole entertainment space was handed to us because blackface wasn't a thing anymore, and black people were good at making music.
yeah,
So that was why a lot of people went into the music business, not because they had the talent, because a lot of black people had the talent to do so, but because of the fact that it gave them the opportunity to make the money, that's why a lot of people went into that space. And same for music back then, acting, singing, all of that, dancing, and then even now with like hip hop and stuff, because hip hop is so popular, that's why everyone sees that opportunity to do so. And the people that first did the whole hair and nail stuff, they were like the originators. And once people saw them doing that, that's when people started to follow.
yeah,
So it's like more of like a funnel type of thing.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I just wish like I just wish like we could just uplift each other more instead of like
Definitely.
using the lack of us instead of using the lack of us as a downfall. We should use it as motivation. Like
Yeah.
we should want to populate. We should want to take over. You know what I'm saying? Like instead of like mobbing the streets, we need to take over the like we need to take over these different communities. We need to overpower the majority if we really want to make a statement. You know what I'm saying? Like let's at least try. Like I commend these people that have ran for senator when there was legit like no way a black person could be a senator. Like back in the Jim Crow era
Yeah.
during the civil rights movement. Like I commend those people that we're still running, that we're still trying to be in that sense of in that seat of professionalism. Like where is that drive? We don't have that drive anymore, and people don't even realize that we're still in the same place that we was 50 years ago.
And
Like Martin Luther King died. He really when he died, it wasn't that long ago.
Yeah.
It wasn't that long ago. What was that like 60 years ago? Are you kidding me? That was like 60 years ago.
yeah,
That is recent. We are still in like the same place. The only difference is that it's just a more modern time. But we're legit in the same place that we were in um, 60 years ago. And it's not going to change unless we change the way that we're trying to get to the people. Like we can do all these protests all we want, but at the end of the day, government is going to do what government is going to do.
Mm.
I was disappointed because while we were protesting, you know what the government did for us? They painted Black Lives Matter on the street.
Yep. Yep.
they gave us the
Like
street name.
Yep.
they gave us they painted Black Lives Matter on the street, gave us a street name, and everybody's all hype about it. And I'm like, but
What
no
does that?
law, but
What does that do?
there was literally no laws have been changed. There was no new laws. Nothing happened. Nothing happened.
We
Nothing
gotta get a
happened.
Nobel Peace Prize, guys. Yeah.
Yo,
We did it,
like
guys. We ended racism.
Yeah.
like it was so stupid. Like, and everybody's so happy about these murals, taking pictures on these murals. I didn't even step foot on those murals.
No.
This is embarrassing.
Bro,
And
you know
Yeah.
no,
what I hate? There's this,
what?
I don't even know who made the song. It gets so much radio play. It's the We All Bleed the Same song. I don't know the name of the
Oh
song.
my gosh. Are you
You
serious?
know what I'm talking about though, right?
I haven't listened to. I
Never
don't
heard that.
touch the radio.
Oh my
No,
god.
yeah, I don't touch
Hold
the
on.
radio either.
Clearly for good reason now.
Yeah,
It sounds like a white person made this song. And if it's not, I apologize. But it's just so like, oh, We're here together. We stand with you. Unity. Yay.
Oh my gosh.
It's,
my
it's
gosh,
that
I
type
mean-
of song. And I hear it all the time. It gets so
Oh
much
gosh.
airplay. I don't
I
listen to the radio,
remember-
but I hear it in different places.
I definitely remember when like there's I don't know if you guys watch American Horror Story, but
Yes.
the actress from American Horror Story, Sarah Paulson, she was in this video with these other like white actors, and they were like, and pretty much like it was a compilation of these white actors. I think they were saying something like, "I apologize," or "I take responsibility for what my ancestors did." I was like, "What?
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that.
What?"
What is an apology for all those years ago going to do to affect today?
They said I
Like-
take responsibility. I said responsibility for what? That's not what we want. That's not what we want y'all. We don't want y'all to go on y'all knees and beg for forgiveness and for like what your great great grandfather did to my great great grandmother. Like, you know, we hello. Like we want you to use your power to help us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like
If you're
that's what
sorry,
we're
if you
supposed
feel
to
like you
do.
should be doing all these things, if you're apologizing, cool. Now grab me by the hand and we're going to march together. We're going to make this work together. Don't just say you're sorry and think that's the end of it. Like, I've solved all the issues. Because you did it.
Scream Black Lives Matter at the top of your lungs and not care what your white fans have to say.
Right.
You know,
There's-
I remember.
You feeling bad is not helping either.
Yeah, that's not helping either. It's stupid. There was this one like white celebrity, and it was Billie Eilish, and she was going off about Black Lives Matter. Like,
Yep.
she went in, and so many of her fans was like, "Oh, this is I'm so disgusted with you, Billie. All lives
Billie.
matter." And like when I tell you, bro, she was unfazed. Like she did not care, bro. Like she was like, "Yo, I honestly like I commend that made me like her like 10 times more."
I'm about to start listening to more
because
Billie
she, like,
Eilish.
stood
Shoot.
her freaking ground.
Facts.
Yeah, like no, she stood her freaking ground, and she was going in like every day, like doing what she could, and I was like, "This is it." Period. Like I need all the white celebrities to do this shit because
I mean, the
that was
difference
it.
is she's her friend group is a community of African American males who have been targeted by the government and also have been wronged by it as well. So she has actually sat
Yeah.
there and had the time to actually rationalize and see firsthand what's been going on. Whereas a lot of these actors and actresses that are out there have no clue because they're sitting up there in their $1 million houses, cozy.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
There's-
Even black people.
Here we go. I found it. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 songs about taking a knee. Take a knee, take a hike. Ragged Old Flag, which was re-uploaded for Johnny Cash or whatever. God Bless the USA. Well, that's different. That's different. Stand for the Flag by Dustin Collins. There's another Stand for the Flag. There's Stand for the Flag, Kneel for the Cross. Like, the second everything happened, right? People jumped all on this to make so many diss tracks for Kaepernick. I remember one dude straight up said, "If you're kneeling, don't touch the ball, UN." And it's on Spotify. Like the outlash. All the only thing we've always wanted was for people not just to be heard, but for people to listen. And it's not asking for much. It's really not asking for much. But the whole country, of course not saying the ones that were out there actually supporting Black Lives Matter or anything, but the whole country had an issue with it. Had an issue with wanting to be heard. While that's the foundation, Denzel, we talked about this before, that's the foundation of America. That's the most American thing you can do.
And the gag is, now everybody kneels.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Everybody takes a knee now. Everybody
Fact.
does
I
it.
remember when that happened because when Colin Kaepernick started doing that, I think only like 3 or 4 other football players did that with
Yeah.
him. And now everyone want to do it. Now everyone's all for
Everybody want to do
doing the
it.
social justice thing. As soon as LeBron got on it, everyone's like, "Oh, it's okay."
Well,
Except for the
look,
people, of course.
look at the difference though. Once you see the money coming into him, all these deals that he has,
Yeah. That
they're
goes
like,
back
"Oh, I want to
that
get some of
brings
this
us full
money."
circle to the economic power thing.
Exactly. I mean, to be fair, that has always been the thing. Black people create something, do something revolutionary, and then they're like, "Oh, write that down, write that down." Like,
No, for real.
I'm about to tie a lot of I'm tying a lot real quick. For instance, once we created rock and roll, right? They were like, "Okay, thank you. Now it's ours. We're going to purify it, aka whitewash it." And now our community is telling our fellow African Americans that we can't do rock and roll cuz that's white music. 99.9% of the music that white people listen to, blacks have created.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless they listen to classical music, which there are multiple classical artists who are not just white.
Yeah. There's some debate over whether Beethoven was black or not.
That I'm telling you right now, that wasn't a debate. That someone just randomly spewed that out and people started picking it up. It's not true.
No,
I'll
yeah,
tell you
like,
that
literally,
right
when I
now.
heard it, when I heard, they was like, oh, Beethoven's black, I was like, what is this bull? I was like, what is this bull? And I remember, because I actually went back and forth with Denzel's sister about it, and I was like, I said, you really believe that he's black? She was like, yeah, and I was like, okay,
No,
okay.
he's not black. He's just a little bit tan.
He's just talented.
I'm sweet.
That's what it was.
That's what it was. He's talented. They're like, man, this guy's so talented. He has to be. You just reminded me. Yusuke, the African American, well, not African American because he's not African American. The African, ex-slave who became a samurai warrior. Literally. I remember specifically they tried to wipe off his skin because they did not believe that someone of a different culture, not even just a black person, but someone of a different culture, could have the athletic prowess, the Yasuo, thank you, the prowess, the ability, the skill that he had. And they were like, when the dude found out that he was actually black, they were like, all right, listen, man, you want to chill here, bro? I'm gonna take you in, son. You about to learn, bro. You about to learn what it is, bro. Sadly, there's speculation on what happened after his master died. Cause after he died, they said that he was seen at the battle, and either he ran away, never to be heard from again, or he was put back into slavery. Which I would prefer the first one, but I don't think he would have ran away like a little bit. I'm being honest.
He's samurai, they're big on their honor and shit.
Exactly. So.
Yeah. No way he just ran away like a little bitch.
Exactly.
Nice. You ain't no bitch.
He ain't no bitch.
I'm
There's
a
probably so
samurai.
much they learned from him.
He probably took over his plantation. Like, stop playing.
Yo, that would make for a brilliant movie, man. Like, you see him,
Definitely would.
No, for real.
Yeah.
he's sitting there getting whipped. You see him, like, fixing up a stick. They're like, the hell is this guy doing? Makes his perfect, like, not bamboo, but basically, Bokuda, Bokutan? Bokuda? Yes. But basically, like, a wooden sword, and fights back. You see him, like, catch the whip with the blade and starts going off.
Yeah.
Training all the black slaves how to just be samurai, how to be Ronin. Bruh.
Bro.
But knowing if they made it in America, bro. The thing is, knowing that if this film was produced in America, chances are the title would be Shadow Ronin. Let's be honest.
Bro, that movie probably wouldn't even be allowed to be released, bro.
Nah, if it got released, it would only be released in select theaters.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in the
Like
U.S.
they just put it on HBO Max. Not even theaters. They just put it on HBO Max. It's a Netflix movie.
Netflix movies
It's not
OD.
even- It's just a Netflix movie. Like no, like literally, I wish that they made like more movies about the black people that fought back.
Yeah.
I wish on a star that they made movies about that.
Yeah.
But I know that it wouldn't have a theatrical release. And if it did, like, it would cause so much controversy. People are like, especially black like creators and directors and stuff. Like, a lot of them either don't have the platform to really like step out like that, or they're just scared to do it. Like
Mhm.
a lot of the black creators and black directors, like Ava DuVernay. I think I pronounced her name wrong, but like her thing was released on Netflix, only Netflix.
Mm.
When she did what is it when they see us? Like
Yeah.
that was only released on Netflix though. Granted, like that thing was like crazy. I didn't even finish it. I didn't want to finish it.
Yeah, that was
Understandable.
so depressing. That's the type of show you can only watch once and never touch again.
Right.
Literally, remove from your list all that.
So I'm about to hit you something crazy, right? Do you guys know who Abraham Petrovich Gannibal is?
No.
Nope.
No. I thought you were gonna say Abraham Lincoln.
So this guy, he's a Russian military engineer, general, and nobleman from Africa.
Hmm.
He was one of the most successful generals in the Russian military.
Mm.
There's also multiple, and here's the thing: he got into that power of government in which was it? Born. There we go. Around 1736, he had this. 1736. There are multiple African generals, authors, and so many different things, especially Africans in power in different countries. So many different countries. This man was extremely powerful. Still to this day has statues built of him. Or of him, yeah.
I'm gonna need to see these statues.
For a
Wait.
fact?
Wait, yo, have you guys heard of the movie that was supposed to come out called American Skin by Nate Parker?
No. What's that one about?
Yeah,
I've heard of Nate Parker.
Oh, it looks fire. It came out.
yeah, no. I don't believe it came out because they never wanted to release it, bro, because the movie was too hot.
You want to know what it's on?
I know it's on.
It's on Apple TV. Only Apple TV. Yeah.
Oh, I'm literally seeing it right now.
What do you mean by too hot?
Like, I wish we could watch the trailer, but
So like it had like negative reviews and stuff.
nah. It's just the topic, bro. The topic is just on a black man, like in power, like kind of like
Too
taking
hot.
retaliation towards white people. You know, therefore they can't just put that out. You know, so there was mad delays about the movie. You know, so it just never came out. I think until
Word.
now. Like, bro,
2019.
I'm googling it. It says the release date January 15th, 2021. So it just came out.
A month ago.
Yeah, bro. But it was filmed in 2019.
Yeah. That's insane.
So sad.
It
You
premiered
know
in
how many-
2019, so it must have like been filmed in like 2018.
Oh,
Yeah,
Sierra
probably.
Capri's in it.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of big actors.
Sierra
Theo
Capri's
Rossi.
the black female actress from Get Out. I'm not Get Out, my bad. Whoa. From On My Block.
Or
Oh, the one that played Monse.
Yeah.
I hate
Yeah.
that character so much.
I hate
Well,
Monse, but
Omari
she's a great
Hardwick's
actress.
in They got
I
Ghost in
hate
it.
Yeah.
hate Monse so
Yeah, they have
much.
Ghost
They got the dude
from Luke Cage.
from Luke Cage. Couldn't think of what that show was called.
This thing is packed. Oh my gosh.
But yeah, brother, the trailer was really like really intense. It seemed like it was gonna be a really good movie.
I gotta give that a watch.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I want to too, but I don't have Apple TV. I think my mom does. I don't know if she paid for it.
It's also on Amazon.
Amazon.
Or we could
Gross.
just not.
You gotta rent it for
I was
$5.
gonna say watch it illegally, but we gotta support our,
Yeah, you gotta
our
support
black
that. Yeah.
kids out here.
Yeah, facts.
Oh, there's so many black movies. Whoa, 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 whoa. Have y'all seen Business Ethic?
Nope.
Mm-mm.
Apparently, fresh out of business school, Zachary Carson seems to have all the tools necessary to succeed in the world of finance, but he is ambitious to a fault and finds himself lured by dramatic new idea to a fund that may not be so legal. But essentially, it's a black man who started off with nothing, gets into a position of power, like great power, starts his own business and everything, and just, of course, they're gonna fuck him over because he's black. But like, he gets into a position of great power, and I'm mad that it's only on Amazon. I haven't seen it anywhere else. Oh, but I guess Shada's is on everything, huh? Okay. The movie about dreadheads shooting up places. Of course, that's on everything.
What other
But you know
shows
the
there?
you know what the sad part is though? Like there's so many movies about like the American Revolution and how we like done fought the British and all this crap. But we can't even talk about the African American liberations
Right.
properly. That is crazy. Crazy disrespectful. I am disappointed. Always will be disappointed. I will never be satisfied with the little crumbs that we get as a race. I will never be
Yeah,
satisfied. Like, y'all
that's
can be
why
hyped,
we made
but
our
I will
own.
not be satisfied. I like Kamala Harris is vice president. She's half black. I'm not satisfied till we get a full black one.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is.
You're not gonna be
I
satisfied even then,
I don't care.
because then they're gonna come back and then give us a Donald Trump 2.0.
Yep. You're gonna see Mitt Romney run
That's
I'm
again.
exactly
never
gonna
gonna be
happen.
satisfied.
Yeah,
It's never gonna be satisfied. It's cool.
the cards
Oh,
your
this
dog.
disappointment. That's
The
why I
cards
didn't
are all
want to
dog.
vote. That's why I didn't want to vote. See?
We don't support that here.
What? Not voting?
Sorry. Yeah, we don't support that here. She ended up voting. I don't know.
I was
For
forced to vote by my
audience
mother.
out there.
My mother forced me to wake up, and she took me to the poll, and made me vote. She watched me vote. I
Ooh.
felt forced.
Did you guys know about the African group that was forced to join the Nazi Party?
I did not know about that.
I did not hear about that. This is
They
a,
were probably smart.
a great,
No.
great podcast today. I hope you guys are enjoying yourselves, because so many revelations.
Wow.
They're
Yeah,
probably mad smart.
they were forced to join. In oh, I didn't know that was a thing. Italian Libya.
Yeah.
And the Nazi part? Oh wait, no, yeah, they did take over them.
Mm-hmm.
That was definitely their territory. Yeah.
That was during the North African campaign of World War II, where Paul Emil von Lettow, Vorbeck, or sorry, Warbeck, was titled Lion of Africa.
Mm,
White guy.
crazy.
Mm-hmm.
White guy.
What's the white guy?
Bro, you know what else I've been looking at that's like similar situations, bro? Like certain hair products that literally say for black people, or like hair of color or curly
Yep.
hair, like there's just so many products that the head of it is
Yeah.
a white person. Now, not to say that like, a black person didn't create it and then, their product was bought or whatever the
That's
case
what
may be.
usually it is. That's
Yeah, yeah,
usually
Yeah.
yeah.
$10 with
Yeah.
Shea Moisture. I think, what was that other one? It was the white and orange one. But a lot of them were like originally like black people products and then got bought out. And then some others, like the big name brands like the L'Oreal's and stuff, they just joined the bandwagon and created their own product.
Yep.
But I feel like it was a bad idea, man.
I mean,
They
some
can
of
just
them
do whatever they want to do now.
they do, because some of them they actually change the formula that they utilize.
And then there's like kill me promethazine in my fucking shampoo.
Mm.
There we go.
Computer unplugged.
Carol's daughter.
Carol.
That was another one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Carol's daughter.
Yeah.
Not like for the white folk.
It wasn't before. African Pride was another one. Dark and Lovely.
Yeah, and they took over. The white
Yep.
people took over. Changed the
Africa's
recipe and all that
Best.
crap.
Aunt Jackie's Texture My Way.
On
Do Grow.
Jackie's, yeah.
Mm-hmm. African
Damn.
Glow. Black and
I
White.
used on Jackie's. That hurt my soul.
That's what I'm saying. When I found out, I was almost crying.
You know, I'm gonna just make my own hair products. I
They
don't know
took
when.
Can too.
Should.
That's the goal. I
As
don't know
you
when I'm
should.
gonna do it, but that
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about Can 2. I used to use Can 2, and then they started talking about Cancer or some shit. I'm like, oh,
Bro, see, that's the thing, bro. We cannot sell our products. We need to own them. If we own
Facts.
them,
I
you know,
owned and
that-
operated.
yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. And that's longevity, bro. Because if you have a good product, you don't have to worry.
Yeah, but then you still have to worry about distribution and
Marketing?
all that other stuff. That's why
Yeah.
you sell out.
Yeah. That's why you have
yeah,
to.
Yeah. True,
Because
bro.
your businesses were most likely suffering with a very good product, or not suffering, but
It's more of a
But-
challenge.
yeah, it was
Like
very
you
hard to maintain that, and you're
yeah.
not like, really making any profit, because you're doing everything on your own. And then all these other big companies, they own all the manufacturing, all the distribution network. They have all that already. So when they give you a very big price tag and can tell you that they can sell your product better than you can, and you believe them because they probably can sell your product better than you can, you're gonna sell out and make your money.
Speaking of selling
I'm not
out,
mad at
because
any
we were
of the
just,
companies that
yeah, it's fair. Shea
Even with
Moisture.
weed.
This person was just
Well,
talking
not
about it.
weed.
They were saying that after it was bought out and they changed their old formula, their new products no longer work for black women.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On Jackie's works pretty well for me.
Because
Well, I was talking about Shea Moisture, so.
Cause what? Sorry. I thought the
they
said
learn
something
to
slick.
add. See, you always think I'm bro. I'm not even talking to you like bro. Who invited you to this?
Nah, yo, I definitely want black people to own more things, yo.
No, I was just joking. No, sorry.
Black
Right.
people can own more things and build, their wealth and longevity, then, that's how it all starts. Then I feel like it would trickle into everything else, like politics, doctors,
Man,
I could picture-
It would be different if there was like a black-owned Amazon, because
Oh yeah.
Amazon is very different because like they like are the distribution network. So a lot of companies go to them and sell their products through Amazon. If there's a black-owned Amazon, all the black-owned businesses could go through the Amazon, and then um, that'll make making black-owned businesses like 100% easier.
I forgot what, but there is one of those existing.
WeBuyBlack.com.
Who?
I just looked it up. WeBuyBlack.com.
Or then that's
Okay.
it.
Yeah, let me send that to
I
you.
remember.
All right, business owners in the chat, we buy black. Go use it.
I do recall seeing something about that. The protests and everything was going down.
Oh, this is fire. They got a lot of dope stuff. Hold up. I might buy that deodorant.
Huh?
What kind of deodorant is it?
It's all natural.
Ooh.
But they got stuff for your home living, head wraps, clothing, jewelry, children's and toys, arts and collectibles, footwear, beauty, books, and beard care.
Beard care.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
Sir.
I'm looking at the books, baby.
Plenty of knowledge. Oh, you guys want to hear something I've been thinking about?
Mm.
So, right, I've been getting into stocks, right? You guys already know that. I've been
Yeah.
into stocks like 2020 when the pandemic started, basically.
Yeah.
But like recently I just been thinking, man, like, and obviously this does not go for everybody, but this is on my end, that I am the first generation in my family that I know of that is now investing money and now on the path to create that general wealth, not general, but that
Generational.
Generational.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that generational wealth, you know, because like many white people have had the whole courtesy, to start generations beyond, and that's how, you know, there's so many people in power in today's society,
Yeah.
but it's just so interesting, bro. Like, I feel like a lot of people now are just getting into it, and they're the first generation in their family to start
Yeah.
investing. And of course, there's people who like have known about it, but it's not like it's common knowledge, you
Yeah.
know.
And even if
You
it's
don't teach
common,
that to
it's
the
not
community,
that.
you teach that to your kids.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's not even. Sometimes it's not even that it's like not common knowledge. It's just that it's viewed as a white thing.
Yeah.
So because it's
That's true.
viewed as a white thing, most of the people in that community don't do it.
Yeah, I mean, which is true, It's called the rich man's game. You know what I'm saying? Which would portray to the rich white people, but that's also a way for us to get in. The options are not limited.
It's not. And doubling back to our conversation prior, we limit the options. Our community limit the options by telling us that we can't do all these different things. By telling us, "Oh, you want to be a writer? Nah, there's enough books out there. You're good." "Oh, you want to be an astronaut? There ain't no black person in space. I'm gonna keep knocking out until I see it." You want to see, like they always
Literally.
tell us what we can't do.
Projecting
never
their fears.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
part of it is projecting fears. A huge part of it is projecting fears, and we have to learn. We have to unlearn that. What was? Oh my gosh, Shay and I talked about this a while ago. Because my professor talked about it. He was like, "Where do you think it came from? Where parents talk down to black children, and it wasn't just from the slave masters." And we all were like, "What?" And he was like, when a slave master comes onto the plantation, looks at somebody, says, "Your boy looks like he's really good. He's climbing trees well. He looks like he's going to grow to be very strong." You're going to sit there and say, "What, him? You don't want him. He's stupid. He's lazy. He's good for nothing. He doesn't listen." You're going to talk down to him so he doesn't get sold off. It's like the reverse of marketing.
Mhm.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
And that
It
stuck
makes sense though.
because now we have white people doing it, and then on top of that we have our own parents doing it, and then we never get to unlearn that, so then we have the next generation doing the same thing, and here we are today.
Full fucking circle.
Mm-hmm.
Sad case. No, don't full circle that.
I know it.
Yeah.
It was low key a bad call, but it does tie in though. Yeah.
It's not supposed to be a good thing. When we full circle, it's supposed to be a good thing. When we establish the full circle, it's supposed to be a good thing. This
My
is not
statement
good
has been
thing.
redacted. I agree with you though.
Thanks.
Man, that really is crazy though, Chris. I've never thought about that.
Yeah, my professor pulled out a lot of stops when I was in his class.
Nice. Yo, don't tell me my thing unplugged.
I've been looking at the We Buy Black shop. They got a lot of good stuff.
I believe it.
We buy black.
I'm gonna look at it right now.
CBD soap, $17.99. Oh, you playing games? You playing games? I'm gonna send that in the chat.
CBD soap does sound cool though.
I be using Dr. Bronner, so that's my choose.
Dr. Bronner's. Never heard of that.
You never
You ever heard
of
of
that?
Dr. Bronner's?
No, I don't think so.
It's good soap.
Have you ever smelled a black girl and smelled peppermint?
Oh,
No?
you know, now I'm thinking about it.
I forgot.
I haven't been around a black girl in so long, bro.
I was thinking that. Oh, that brings me back.
It does bring you back, I bet. But I have many more things to say to combat that. First of all, I haven't really been around women at all in the first place, besides my mom
Hey
and my
yo.
sister.
Oh, so messy. Just a
I
sausage
mean-
party everywhere you go.
Sounds like another discussion.
I mean, it has been a sausage party, but I haven't been taking part.
Yo.
You've been hosting. It's fine. We get it.
I'm weak. I've been hosting the
Ain't nothing
sausage.
wrong, man. Ain't nothing wrong.
Nah, of course, ain't nothing wrong. I'm just trying to, classify where I'm at right now in this time
Yeah,
and
you know,
place.
we love the gays, guys.
Facts.
We love
With
the
that being
gays.
said, now we're gonna talk about the feminization of the black man.
That could be an actual conversation, though.
Because,
Absolutely.
but wait, because black men, you can be a feminine black man and not be gay.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up?
It's a thing.
How you doing?
Like, you know, you can be feminine and not be gay. But you know what the sad part is that even like the simplest things that a man can do can be considered feminine. Like a guy goes to the nail salon. A guy does some form of self-care and they're deemed as like feminine. Like what is
Yep.
wrong with a man having like a face wash regime and you call that like being feminine? First of all, why you dirty or something? Like why he gotta be gay? Is you dirty? Like you don't wash your face? You don't got your face wash or nothing? Like what is you washing your face with? Hand soap? That's nasty.
I swear. All right, I'm calm down. But
Yeah,
I
you
swear.
3-in-1 liquid soap. That's amazing.
I swear to you, when I was upstate, I saw so many brothers washing with hand soap, right? And I ain't talking about no Dove soap, just bar soap. And I got on so many of them. I was like, yo, bro, how you about to be out here representing the brothers in a white town, smelling like dookie, and only washing with this? You better wash yourself, bro. We're down the block from CVS, And you know damn well they got black products. You better go up in there and get something for yourself and get yourself clean. There's no need for you to be up here dirty.
That's a fact.
You definitely spitting, Chris.
Mhm.
There's no need for you to be dirty at all. And I feel like it's definitely better. Like I don't think like people really associate that with being like feminine things as much nowadays. But it's still there.
I remember back in the day when I just started doing ballet, I wanted to have a balance bar at home so I could actually get on point and everything like that. So I could start dancing with Christoph with your pops, because I wanted to go around and do like African dance and everything else with him.
Mm-hmm.
When I told my dad I wanted a balance bar, he was like, "No, you should leave that in the dance place because we don't need one of those things in this house." And I was like, "Why not?" He was like, "Well, I mean, you're not really, you know, a girl, so you don't really need that." And I was like, "The fuck are you saying? What?"
What you
What are you trying to say, Dad?
What
What are you trying to say, Dad?
Dad? Mind your business, Dad.
He used to be on some wild BS that he got from his like uncles and stuff like that. But again, that's generational stuff with us. But
Yeah.
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 after being in affirmative action and doing all these different things with his job, he's come to realize the difference in actually being gay, feminized, being urbanized. What's it called? I think it's my aunt called me this. I think it's urbanized, but basically a man that takes care of himself, which I don't get why there has to be a name for it, and like all these different aspects of life, and is actually coming to terms and accepting all of it. Like, what was it? There was one girl in the church who came out as gay one time, right? And one of the pastors shat on her like heavy. She said it in private with the youth, and then the youth pastor came on stage and talked about how there's no place for gays in the church. My dad flamed that boy immediately. I was shocked as hell because I didn't expect my dad to stand up like that. But literally after that was back in like 2008. My dad's been on like a whole course on making sure he's setting things straight. Cause he's like, I don't get why I should have people out there feeling like, which is horrible to think that this is a correlation, but I don't get why people should be out there feeling like black people do. If you catch my drift when I say that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he was like, it's not as if they're a different color or anything. Their views are just a little different. As if all black people's views are the same. That makes no sense why they should be ostracized just for having a different point of view and different sexuality.
Yeah.
So yeah, after that, he switched up quick. Like that next day, he switched up. Bought me my first ballet slippers.
As you should.
Right.
Yeah.
I miss ballet.
Did you ever go on?
Nah,
Did you ever
never
go on?
did. I never did.
That's crazy, man. Wait,
You know
were
what?
you like, you was trying to like, you was actually trying to like get like point shoes and stuff?
Yeah.
And I
hate
do
those.
remember you
I
getting
don't-
ballet shoes, Chris.
Yeah.
I don't recommend.
Because
Yeah,
remember,
true.
for ballet,
Point shoes suck.
I think for the first half of my time in ballet, every time we was on stage, I was either wearing black socks or I was wearing sneakers or I was barefoot. I never had ballet
Better
shoes.
than being barefoot with your ugly hard toes, bro.
Oh,
Listen, man, my
Oh,
toes looking
wow.
beautiful now. You better shut your face.
Now, maybe.
Toes.
I'm weak.
I mean,
Nah.
I had like a bad experience with like point because they kind of like forced me to go in point shoes, and
Ooh.
like I didn't really have like, I mean, I wouldn't say I didn't have like the proper training for it, but I definitely was not ready for it. So like, and my feet are kind of like, I wouldn't say like weird, but like they just they just wasn't doing the thing that they were supposed to do. Like
Mm.
they just we wasn't we wasn't in sync the way we should have been, you know. And then it was, and my feet like had this weird shape, so like I had this like issue with Capizio, and they would give me like the wrong shaped shoe, and it was just bad. Like I went through like 6 shoes within like 3 years of being on point, and I hated it. And I don't even know where my point shoes are now. And don't ask me to bring them out because I will like have PTSD. Horrid.
And
So don't bring them out.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I honestly don't know where they are, but point shoes suck. But boys and femininity, right?
Mhm.
It's
Word. I remember back in the day, my mom was upset because I wanted to get my right ear pierced, even though she already got my left ear pierced. Yeah, she straight up called me out of her night that I was gay. She was like, "You want to be gay? Is that what it is? You want to be gay?" I'm like, "Nah, I like balance."
what's your right eye pierced? Right ear pierced. I said right eye. Why did I say that?
Yeah, no, that's
Right ear
crazy.
pierced. I'm actually like I keep asking Denzel when's he gonna get his other ear pierced too.
Oh yeah, wait,
Uh,
John, wait, which one you got? You got your right one?
no, I got my left one pierced.
Your left one,
The
right?
left
Yeah.
one is the non-gay one.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
right
yeah.
one is gay.
Yeah, no, I got both of them, so I'm gay and not gay.
That's called being
Right.
bi, bro.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm bi.
You go both ways.
Yeah.
Same.
Everybody has like both their ears pierced now. Like guys even
Mhm.
have like their nose pierced now.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
would like to
because
do
they
that.
go all the way.
Yeah, they go like all the way.
I mean,
Yeah.
we saying that like it's wild. Like Tupac never had a nose
It's
piercing.
not.
No, it's
Facts.
not.
That's the crazy part. That's the crazy part.
It's not wild. Like it's just sad that like it's like why like having like both your ears pierced can still be like a masculine situation.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah. I could still beat somebody's ass.
But
Just
I
it's
don't
could
get
just
in
still
your
murder
ear.
against the
somebody.
norm.
Facts.
That's the thing with black people. You can't take black people out of their norm
Ah,
because they're just gonna
Yeah.
freak out.
Christoph, why do you associate being loud and beating people's ass with masculinity?
Hmm.
Uh,
Let's talk about it.
no, 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 no. I said that. I said that because that's obvious.
Oh, is it obvious?
Yeah, it's extremely obvious that
Mm.
even the whole audience understood it. They're all nodding right now.
Is it because the concept of masculinity and femininity
not
doesn't truly
nodding-
exist?
Let us know.
No, 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 no. I
Audience.
completely believe the concept of masculine. I always struggle. I always struggle with this word.
Take
I
your
could
time.
say femininity, masculinity, masculinity. There we go. The repeat process works very well for me. Uh, as I was saying, there's definitely like two sides to it, man. Like, feminine and masculine has always been there, I think, in every aspect of life, you know? So I think that rings true. And I think it's just classic examples. Like, I want to be in my, masculine power. Like, I want to be a man. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's what I want to embody, you know? I want to be strong. I want to be disciplined, like, I want to embody that, without, pushing away my feminine sides because there's a balance to it. I
So
think
here's
men,
why masculine and feminine are genuinely just concepts and constructs.
Mm.
Yeah.
The adjective masculine means having qualities or appearance traditionally associated with men. If your traditions are different than others, your concept of masculinity is completely different than anyone else's. Therefore, masculinity does not have a solid proof. It has no standard ground. And then masculinity as a whole stands for qualities or attributes regarding as characteristics of men. And the qualities they put in here, the only one that's different is handsome, but they put muscled, driven, and that's it. Just muscled and driven.
Word.
But I've seen multiple women being both of those. So what am I going to do? Call them masculine? No, they're just women. Like,
Yeah, I have my masculine moments.
but see, but that's the thing though. Like, I feel like there's a whole equality to it. Like, yin and yang, masculine, feminine, like, male and female. Like, I don't know. It just makes sense, bro. But I guess
I feel
that's
like
just
every
me, you know.
human has a masculine and feminine side.
No, no, and that's exactly what I'm saying. Like that's all together. It's all one. You know, like men and women complete each other. Obviously, you don't need one another, or that's up for debate. But you know, men and women complete each other. You know what I'm saying? Like together, you know, you could be a force unstoppable.
Yeah.
You know, like even further, bro. Like to have a kid, you need a man and a woman. You know, you need
Mm-hmm.
that masculine and feminine aspect to then create. You need the
There we
seed
go.
and you
Found
need
it.
the flower.
So
You need the flowers.
tell me
Yes.
if Denzel, Christoph, tell me if you've expressed this. You're not gonna say yes to all of them. Tell me if you expressed this in our friend group.
That you are
Sense,
wrong.
nurturance, sensitivity,
Hmm?
sweetness, supportiveness, gentleness, warmth, passivity, cooperativeness, expressiveness, modesty, humility, empathy, affection, tenderness, emotional, kind, helpful, devotion. What have you experienced any of those in our friend group?
Yes.
You repeat that again?
Nurturance, sensitivity,
No.
sweetness, supportiveness, gentleness, warmth, passivity, cooperative, expressiveness, modesty, humility, empathy, affection, tenderness, emotional, kind, helpful, devotion.
Humility, definitely not.
Yo, what? I would say yes to that one.
I knew he was gonna say no to like half of them.
Nah, but definitely like I feel like the most often case we view or have one of those is when something happens with Shay,
Mm-hmm.
and then we're very supportive in that sort of sense. And then stuff that happens with all of us, like if any of us came to like the group or something, in most cases we'd all be very supportive,
Yeah. That's why I'd
especially
say
for
yes
like
to
something
all of
weird.
them.
Yeah.
You know, like it varies case by case, but I know that all the qualities are there. And
It's
also,
rare
So
that we ever are vulnerable enough to come to this group specifically about stuff like that. So
yeah,
now,
I think that's right now though, just because
yeah,
like we're not all around like hanging out with each other, like talking to each other
yeah,
every like day like we used to be. So it's just
yeah.
a whole different vibe. Like I'm sure we all just you know go about it on our own ways, you know, figuring it out ourselves, you know, rather than expressing it to each other as much as you know
yeah.
it could be done.
So my what I was gonna do just now was entirely backfired, and I'll explain why. Essentially, what I expressed or what I explained just now was all the aspects of westernized femininity, whereas masculinity is just strength, courage, and independence.
So then, all right,
So
all
basically,
right.
so
It's
is
like
being masculine just being able to take care of yourself, and being feminine being able to take care of others, or
shit, bro. It's obviously more than that. Like you said, it's
which
just a concept, right?
which if we go by based off that, it makes sense why people going complete full circle explains why people would refer to God as a woman, or referring to Ashura, saying that
Yeah,
it has very feminine properties.
yeah, makes sense.
Mm.
That was a complete full circle there.
That was
Yay!
a full
Right
circle.
on time.
It's 11:01.
It's yeah, 11:01, and the podcast
Nah,
is just about to end. It's 1 hour and 59. But
ooh,
yeah,
I feel complete.
yeah, man, that was good. I'm gonna keep looking up on this. I might bring it up next week.
What on the topics of masculine and
Masculinity
femininity?
and femininity. Yeah.
Masculinity.
I kind of just want to stop saying it altogether.
That's fair. But yeah,
Can you guys say it one more time for me?
masculinity.
Masculinity.
Masculine.
Mascu-millennium.
Millennium. I can say that. I think.
Mascu-millennials.
All right, bet. That's it.
Musky
That's it,
millennials.
Musky millennials.
I can't even say that. I can't.
Listen,
Okay.
if
See,
men think
this is
being
what they've
masculine
done.
isn't showering, then musty millennials is masculinity.
Nah, wait, hold up. Hold up. This ties full circle into what you were saying earlier, Chris, with the femininity in men. You can't even say the word masculine. You can't even say it, bro. You can't even say it.
Masculinity.
Can you say masculine?
Can you say musky millennials? Musky
Musky.
I
millennials.
can't say that for some. I can say masculinity. but I
Musky
can't say
millennials. Musky millennials.
Musky,
Mascu-
musky,
Musky.
musky,
You said musky.
musky.
Musty millennials.
Because they don't shower.
Musky or
Musky
musky?
millennials. Musky,
Musky.
they don't shower.
Musty millennials.
Musty millennials. I could say that. Masculinity.
I can say musky.
Masculinity. Masculinity.
And with that,
Masculine.
I hope you guys had a good time. Hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys come back. I'm your guy, Roxas Wright, CJ Wright, and with me
really
we
struggling.
had
We got JD, Denzel, DNZL, Daddy Quick, Early Late, all of the above. And then we also have.
Is that my turn?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay. It's your boy, Lee Blizz.
Yes, sir. Boo, 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 boo.
Up in the biz. Up in the building. Y'all know where to find me, boy. And,
Sir.
Everybody else.
Yeah, and that's it. No, that's Christoph. You know, Christoph's in the building. Hope everybody's doing well.
and we're you
And that's it.
guys 1152 Circle. Have a good night, y'all.
Love y'all. Good morning.
Morning.
Okay.
I'm weak. Yo, John, you a flame.
You a flame.